We'll get started in just a minute. I wanted to pop in and say hello and encourage you to head on over into the chat box and share who you are and an intention that you might have for 2026. So I'm curious, what's on the horizon for you, or what are your wishes? What are you longing for? And also, of course, we want to gather a journal, a pen, a cup of tea, and whatever else is going to make you nice and cozy this evening. We've got Miss Cindy, hello from Seattle. Sonia from Norfolk, Virginia, to create a lovely independent life for myself after spending the last couple years healing from divorce and then another bad relationship. Joanne, Happy New Year from New Jersey. Happy New Year to you. Hi, Miss Kathleen. Rainy Southern California, yes, is to be on my toes, meaning remaining physically active and be nimble and curious in all things. I love that. Hi, Miss Donna from DC. Accept the changes happening in both life, both personally and professionally. Hi, Miss Sally. I'll practice intuitive and mindful eating and exercise this year. Love. Catherine, hello, bonjour from Quebec. My intention this year is to refocus my available resources to support my creative dreams. I love that so much, Catherine. And just so you know, that's going to be encouraged in the tranquility tips that come later. So, yay, 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 yay. Hi, Miss Linda from Oklahoma. Intention is to joy every day. I like that. Cindy is to sparkle and enjoy life living in Montana soon. Andrea. Guatemala. Hello, Miss Andrea. My intention for this year is to pursue my creative projects. Okay, I'm here. I've seen that this is a theme. I love this. Hi, Miss Melanie from Spokane. Presence. And this will guide my intentions, especially checking in with myself regularly throughout the day. Kathy from the suburbs of Detroit. Word for 2026, pause. Heather, I'll go through just a few more of these. Heather, my intention is to practice better self-care. I love St. Pete, by the way, Heather. It's the cutest town ever. Julie from rainy LA, entering 2026 very slowly and mindfully. And happy again, belated birthday, Miss Julie. Hello to Miss Stella, her dog. Deborah, bonjour from just outside of DC. Intention is to make the most of the first full year in the Coterie and to make creativity a priority. I love this. Wonderful. We've got Lexi, Diana, and Laura, all sorts of wonderful. Hi, Jean Marie. Hi, Jennifer, Allison. I will read these all a little bit later. I love this. Thank you guys so much for coming out and being here today. And just a heads up, if you can't stay for the whole thing, don't worry. I am recording this. I hope it says recording because it's supposed to be. And I will send out a copy of this after. So please don't worry. Also, I just want to remind everyone, in case you are not seeing it yet, but to grab a journal because we're gonna do a little, of course we do journal prompts. It's Tranquility du Jour, right? A cup of tea. I want you to be nice and cozy. A pen, we definitely want a pen to write. And then even like, a cozy little blanket or something to put on your lap. So let me just go ahead and add that. Now I'm sitting on a cozy blanket, I'm adding one. And, I just want you to be as comfortable as possible because I know for a lot of people, tonight's a little hard because we're going back to reality tomorrow and after the holidays. And so I hope that this will be a little like soothe for your soul as you prepare to return to reality, right? So thank you again for being here today. So what are we doing? Little introduction, which is what I'm doing now. I just want to introduce you to what will be happening. I'm going to help you get centered. So we'll just, take a pause, come into a comfortable space. 4 journal prompts that I have for you. A sneak peek into the Coterie. This is my year-long program that launches just twice a year, and doors are open for the next week. And so I'll tell you a little bit about that and give you a little peek inside. Tranquility tips. I've got 5 tips for you that I find, especially as I was thinking about this year in particular, to be really helpful as we launch into this brand new season. And then a little bit of what's on the menu for Tranquility du Jour this year. What's coming down the pike? I'm excited to share. And then Q&A, takeaways. I always like to hear, are there any, questions? And also, what did you take away from this experience tonight? Because it's always meaningful for me to know that, one little nugget maybe landed with you. And I also encourage you, if possible, set phones away. I've got mine on Do Not Disturb, and just see if you can allow yourself to drop into this space together with us tonight. I'd like to say who I am in case anyone doesn't know. I know some of you, we have, as you say, grown up together over the past 20 years since Hip Tranquil Chick came out, which was my first book. But, some of you may be newer. And so I just like to share that who I am. My name is Kimberly Wilson. I'm a psychotherapist here in Washington, D.C., but my career really started when I had yoga studios named Tranquil Space. So that's where tranquility is infused with everything. And then I had those for about 20 years and sold them in 2017 and transitioned into full-time psychotherapy. So I do that. I'm an author and a rescue pug mom, and also president of Pigs and Pugs Project, which is a wonderful organization where we donate micro grants to pig sanctuaries and pug rescues. All right, so very niche. I live in DC and I dream of Paris. I want to say I live in DC with a slice of Paris because I just got back from Paris and I'm going back for the entire month of February. I hope to spend a lot more time there and part-time, a little part-time living. I've been obsessed with Paris for probably 20 years, and so I think now is a good time. And my work, has been featured in various publications, Cosmo, Bella Grace, Washington Post, Washingtonian, Huffington Post, I said that. So yeah, so just so you know, there's like that I've been around for a while, right, sharing this. And I find that my mission really is to help midlife women find more beauty and balance. I want to say too, if you're like, I'm not in midlife, it's okay. Because I do feel like the lessons that I share, even though we center around the idea of midlife, midlife can range anywhere from 35 to 65 to 75. So please don't feel like, oh, I'm not in the bracket. You are, and you are welcome here. And even though I talk about midlife, it is not like anyone outside of that is excluded. Okay. So you're so welcome here. I love matcha lattes, snail mail, and ballet, in case you're curious. All right. So why tranquility? Again, my yoga studio started with the name Tranquil Space. And I was struggling to come up with the right name for it. And I just was like, this is pre like yoga being popular days, right? And I'm sitting in a women's business class and I'm like, well, what do I want to evoke? What do I want people to feel? And somehow tranquil space just came to mind. And then I've just run with the idea of tranquility and I've been using it for 20 years now. So there's Tranquility du Jour, which is, like all of my books, my podcasts. There used to be a clothing line, all these things that fall under it, digital courses, etc. But why tranquility? I mean, besides it spinning off of tranquil space, the idea is really, I wanted to define it because in the dictionary, tranquility is the quality of calm, right? It kind of ends there. But I have added within a fully meaningful life because to me, tranquility, it's great if you have the quality of calm. I mean, hello, we all want that and love that and appreciate that. And yet, life is not full of calm, right? All the time. And so recognizing that how can we also have like lots going on in our lives, a very full, rich life, while also having a dose of calm. And that's what I'll talk about too with the 5 tips I'm going to give you later on tonight. So let's take a moment to get centered. So just coming to a comfortable seat. I'm sitting cross-legged in a chair. Maybe you want to have your feet grounded on the floor, whatever feels most comfortable. And then hands, palms can face up on your lap or down to be more grounded, or even one on top of the other, thumbs connected. And let's just take a moment to settle in together. We're just through the holiday season, just a few days into this brand new year. Just noticing how all this is showing up in your body. Is there anticipation about what's ahead this week? Maybe a little anxiety, a little excitement. Is there tingling? Do you feel any heat? And scanning the body. So just kind of walking yourself from the top of the head all the way down the body to the tips of the toes. And notice what can you relax? What can you let go of? What can you soften? And draw the breath in and out of the nose, nice and deep. Drawing the breath in through the nose and filling the belly, ribs, and chest. And exhale, releasing chest, ribs, and belly. And if you'd like, even bringing a hand to your heart, a hand to your belly, and just feeling the lifting and the lowering with each breath. Create an intention for our time together. What brought you here tonight? What does a tranquil new year look like or feel like to you? What are you seeking in this brand new year? What wants attention? And how can you open yourself to a sense of possibility? Just take a big inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Let the eyes flutter open. Again, welcome everyone. Whew, thanks for being here. And sometimes it's helpful too. You can even just like as if you're just wiping off, kind of the energy of the day, of everything that has been going on the past couple of weeks, and to really like come into an embodied state where you're just really here and present for this time together. Feels so good. Presence feels so good because we're constantly distracted, right? Now, I want to lead us into journal prompts. I recently was with the Coterie and I was like, do you guys want to do you want some journal prompts? And one of the participants was like, it's Tranquility du Jour. Of course we have to have journal prompts. So I just laughed and I'm like, of course, and I have four for you guys tonight. And I'll give you a little bit of space. I'm just watching the clock. I'll give you, a few minutes with each of these. And I will mute so that you don't hear me writing. And the prompt will be up on the screen. Okay, so I want you to sit with this. And if you're like, I don't really know what to write, just let the hand move across the page and see what comes up. So, my first question for you, and I just kind of walked you through some things, right? So, what are you noticing mentally, physically, and emotionally as you move into this brand new year? What are you noticing? Mentally, physically, you could say spiritually, all the above, like on all the ways as you move into this brand new year. So, again, I'll give you a few minutes. I'm just going to mute so you don't hear me and then bring you back. Take a few more moments to finish this one up. And again, what am I noticing mentally, physically, emotionally? You could say spiritually, all the ways, as you move into this new year. So we're just day 4, very fresh. But what are you observing, especially in our centering practice where we kind of checked in with the body? What did you notice? And feel free to leave space if you're like, I have so much more to say. So I don't want to rush you, but we're going to move on to the second prompt. And so leave space in your journal so that you can come back to it and fill this bit in if you would like. Now, for here, I like to focus on positive, right? So, thinking about for you, and even if 2025 was a hard year, I just wrote a post about mine over on Substack. I hope you had a chance to read it on my word of the year, which was healing. And what I want us to look at is what worked well, because it's easy. And 2025 was a hard year, I think, for a lot of people. And so, as you think about that, I want us to also look at, okay, what went well? What worked well for you? What are some experiences or some relationships or some practices or projects? A lot of you mentioned creative projects. So, what worked well for you last year? Because we want to build on that as we develop and grow our year of 2026. Okay, so what worked well for me last year? Take a few more moments to finish this one up. What worked well for you last year? So you could think about from experiences again to relationships to personally and professionally. Um, were there boundaries that you set that were new for you? So as you think back on the entire year, which I know is very big, but what worked well for you? What are you like? That was actually really good, 2025. I don't know. I had more fiber. I don't know, whatever it might be. And just see if you can create a list. Because again, we have what's called a negativity bias. I always like to mention this. Many of you have heard this 100 times, but we have what's called a negativity bias where we're wired, evolutionarily wired to notice what's wrong, what didn't work well, because it helps us look for threats in the environment. So we have to which allowed our ancestors to survive. However, we have to really force ourselves to look at what is going well because otherwise we focus on the negative. So, what worked well for me last year? All right, my next question for you. Okay, let's picture you here at a tranquil new year 2027, which sounds insane. But when you picture yourself at the end of the year or right back here for this program next year, what do I hope to see? So picturing yourself at the end of the year, what do I hope to see? Maybe what do I hope to see? What do I hope to feel? Do I hope to have experienced? All right, I'll give you a few moments here. Take a few moments to bring this one to a close. And I encourage you, if you're a visual person, to maybe even create like a Pinterest board around this. I'll often encourage my clients to do this. Like, what what do you want this year to look like? What's the main color? What's the vibe? What's the theme? And so sometimes it can be helpful to have a visual that you can look at, or you could even like, art journal it, which we'll do in the Coterie seasonal soiree, which is happening on Saturday. Or, you do Pinterest or any way that will allow you to kind of bring imagery to this. Because when you picture yourself at the end of the year, what do you hope to see can be really helpful to have a visual. Carl Jung said we dream in imagery, right? And so having images to pull together our dreams can be a really useful process. Plus, it's fun to cut things out and then glue them down. There's something about that, the tactile nature, that's very therapeutic. Okay, so my word or theme of 2026 is dot, dot, dot. And let me just tell you, if you do not know yet, you're in good company. I'm still sussing mine out. So maybe just thinking like, what are some ideas or what are some bits that kind of resonate with you that you're like, actually, this is what I'm looking for. Like Melanie knows presence, right? Some people just know what it is, right? And then others are still kind of like sorting it out. And the thing that I want you to also think about and write a little bit about is how can I keep it top of mind as I move through this first full week? Okay, so here we go. We're moving into our first full week of 2026. And whatever your word or theme or intention or idea, and again, it doesn't have to be the permanent, the final one. How can you keep it in mind? So I'll give an example. Say your word or theme of 2026 is creativity. Okay, how can you keep it top of mind as you move through this first full week? How can you make sure creativity is part of your everyday? Whether or not it's working on a project every day for 5 minutes, whether or not it's the way in which you dress in the morning, whether or not it's the way in which you communicate, what would allow you to make sure creativity is top of mind? All right, so I'll give you a few moments here. And take a few more moments here. No rush. I'll give you a little bit more time. But thinking about word or theme, and then how can you weave it into this first full week of 2026, just so it feels like you're off to a good start with it. So tying a bow around this one, and again, please feel free to come back to it and know that this will probably evolve. I know some of you know what it is, but for some of you, you may just be settling into 2026 and not quite sure yet. And for anyone who's not clear what a word or theme of the year is, it's something that is going to help you as you navigate the year. So last year, mine was healing. And it was, I chose in January having no idea what was on the horizon, and it was the perfect word. And it was really a focus the entire year. And so this year, it's just like, I've got a few ideas, but I'm just kind of sitting with them. And it can be helpful to notice like what feels right in your body. I just knew last year that healing was the right word. And then I again had no idea how important it would be. And I wanted to share one quote with you before we move on. And this is by poet David White, which many of you may know. It's Whyte, David White. And he says, what's one thing you could do today that your future self would thank you for? So I love that as we think about word or theme and picturing yourself at the end of the year. What's one thing you could do today that your future self will thank you for? So before actually I go into meeting the coterie or introducing you to the coterie, I want you to just go through what you wrote and circle. Are there any particular themes that you notice that are woven into each of these? Or, that kept coming up. Oftentimes we'll have that. And this can just be helpful to see patterns or really what is like top of mind for you. What's most important at this time in your life? All right. So yeah, that can be nice to go through circle, highlight, whatever allows you to really kind of look at these questions because they all, even though they're separate, they do intertwine. They do thread together. So I want to introduce you to the Coterie. The Coterie is my year-long experience, and it's in its sixth year, and we have many, many people who have joined for the sixth year, which is such a delight and a treat. I started this in 2020, the end of 2020, so it launched in 2021 as just a way to kind of deal with everything that was going on and to come together as a community. And then it's just stuck, and it's really, really grown and developed and evolved over the years. And so I want to walk you through just some pieces of it. Then I'm going to walk you through my 5 tranquility tips for the new year, and then we will wrap up our experience together. So, welcome to the Coterie. This is it's a beautiful image from the page, which is at kimberlywilson.com/coterie. And, I like to think of it as a year-long immersion into becoming and reconnecting with who you are now. Again, you may be midlife, you may not, but thinking about who you are now, because you're not who you were. I'm definitely not who I was last January. So thinking about as you're evolving, how do we reconnect and really like hold who it is we're becoming and continuing to evolve into? So this just kind of gives an idea of like the different bits of it from we've got, this crazy workbook, which I'll talk about in a moment. And, we totaled up kind of everything that's included and it comes to about $10,000, which is insanity. I'd never really put numbers to things, including there's like 18 bonuses, all the programming, the 40 plus events. And this experience is for you if you want to be equipped with a variety of tools to help you find more ease in the everyday. So, whenever I talk about more ease in the everyday, it's like, how do we get through life's challenges without them knocking us over, right? It's like a breakthrough, like an opening into whatever is around the corner. If you want to prioritize your mental health and your midlife dreams, if you're interested in guided practices and experiences, you're open to creative play with ephemera and a journal. You want to align your days with your values, and you crave space to reflect monthly and dive deeper seasonally. All right, so here. this is what we are studying. And the it ranges, right? We start with dreams, of course, this month because, dreams. You could think of these as goals or intentions. Then February's relationships with self and others. March is style. April is creativity. May is mindfulness. June is wellness. June is very full. There is so much in wellness. July is joy. And, joy is about like finding glimmers. And glimmers, you may be familiar with the term, and it's not just sparkly stuff, which is lovely, but glimmers are actually, it's a term coined by a therapist named Deb Dana. Glimmers are the opposite of triggers. So they are things that help calm or soothe your nervous system versus activate. Compassion, we talk about grief here. We've got caregiving. There's so many topics that are woven in. Simplicity, presence is a big thing here. Mental health. One of the pieces that I added to this year is getting in touch with your shadow side. There's gratitude in November and then meaning in December. So here are a variety of testimonials from people, and we put little badges by those who have been with us for many, many years. It's such an honor. And Barbara and Deirdre, what they've had to say about their experience, everything you hope for and more. A lot about, creating the container. And so one person described it, Jennifer, as a warm hug. The coterie is a warm hug. Lynn and Kate sharing, and they are returning people also. Wealth of information, but I never feel overwhelmed. Find the magic spark in everyday life, which is really what we're looking for. So, the piece that I wanted to share here also is that for those of you who sign up before doors close, you will get choice of a Tranquility Coterie t-shirt or a bag, an organic cotton bag, which is adorable. And then here's just a peek at some of the things that are included, right? So we've got a digital course on the tenets of Tranquility du Jour, on mental health, on Year of Tranquility, which is the book that came out in 2019. It's over there. And that's what this was initially based on. And then I've just added a lot more and swapped out modules. Oh my gosh, I don't know what happened to all my images. Okay. And then your year-long tranquility journey through midlife. So that's what this program really, really is about. And there's 40 live events. And again, we start on January 10th with a seasonal soiree, and then doors were closing on January the 12th. And the cost to join, it's $9.97, or you can do a 6-month plan. And then there's also the option to add coaching onto that in addition. There's also two fun new bonuses I added this year, which is a salon, a Paris salon, something that I will host just for the Coterie live from Paris during one of my upcoming trips. And then another one is a midlife wellness masterclass. So these are just a few more fun things that are woven in. In addition, you've got a resource library that's filled with MP3s, videos, PDFs. And let me just tell you, your workbook, okay, here's last year's, it was 225 pages. I just completed the workbook today. I couldn't stop editing. I've been working on it for a month, and finally I'm like, it's done. And it's 249 pages. So you have a lot of material to support your journey all along the way. So if you're interested or if you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. But this really is a magical experience and a safe container for helping to feel seen and to navigate what is ahead. Now, I want to transition into New Year tranquility tips. So I have, as I mentioned, 5 for you. Number 1, orient before you act. So this is a lot about nervous system awareness. This is something I really honed in on and spent a lot of time with this year. So before setting goals or making changes, pause and ask feels what is most supportive right now? Because I find that tranquility begins when we listen first and let the body help lead the way, right? So an example here is like versus jumping right into, oh my gosh, 2026, I have to do everything, or I have to like figure it all out, or I have to start jogging, whatever it is. It's like pause and really ask yourself energetically, what do you need most right now? And one thing that is helpful is to really pay attention to the body. And I'll talk about this in number two, but it helped me make a really big decision that I just made yesterday. And the more we can get oriented and pause and check in with ourselves, the more aligned we're going to be with the decisions that we make. So as you look at goals you have, or your start stop list, or in out list, or whatever might be popping up for you for the new year, just check in. Are these yours, or are they what you think you should have? And what feels like what you most need right now? And it might just be one of those items, because we can't do it all. We can't take it all on. And that just becomes overwhelming. Number two is edit before you add. So think about simplifying and redefining productivity. So I'll give an example here. So rather than piling on new commitments, look for what can be released, completed, or simplified. Spaciousness is often more powerful than effort. Spaciousness is such a gift, and it's one of those things that is can feel elusive. And so how do we actually like make it part of our reality? So give an example, edit before you add. For the past 4 years, I have done an international ballet festival that I adore. I learned choreography for two group pieces, and then I work on choreography for a solo for about 7 months weekly. And it's a lot of time and energy. And this year, even though I signed up for it in July, I just made the decision yesterday that I'm not going to do it this year. I feel like I need to edit because I want to add more around writing and more around spending time in Paris. And so, as you think about your own life, and there may be priorities that are really, really important to you, like ballet is to me, but can you simplify and redefine somehow to find a little bit more spaciousness in your life? Even if it's something you love, doesn't mean we can't do it in 2027. Tend one rhythm. So this is about weekly planning and sustainable focus. So when I say weekly planning, here's a new planner that released just last month, or I guess November, and it's the new day book. And so, whenever we think about kind of planning, I think about it as something I do on Sunday nights. So after my time with you, I will be doing this. And it allows me to just kind of set up the week and look at it from an energetic perspective. So, for you, as you think about the week ahead, because I know it's a little tricky as we transition into this brand new week and brand new year, but choosing one area of your life to care for in this season, and it could just be this month, it could be this week, it could be winter. Like, what's something that really needs a little more attention? Is it sleep? Is it movement? Is it creativity? Is it connection? And these are just a few ideas. So, thinking about something that would be helpful for you to hone in on and prioritize. I heard earlier in the intro a lot of you focusing and interested in making creativity a practice, and that is a rhythm. So consistency in one place brings more peace than scattering energy everywhere, right? So how can you really hone in on what it is that is most important to you right now and know that it's different than what it could have been last week even, right? We're constantly evolving, and how do we really tap into who we are now and what we most need? Number four, create soft starts and return points. So, this is really what tranquility is all about. So, beginning your day gently, choose one practice or place you can return to when things get loud. Okay, so it could even just be I'm going to feel my feet on the floor, or I'm going to notice my breath moving in and out of my body. And know that tranquility isn't about staying calm, it's about knowing how to come back to a state of calm because life is going to happen and there's going to be delays and there's going to be missed deadlines and there's going to be crying children and barking dogs and doorbells ringing. I mean, all sorts of things, right? And so, how can we make sure that we can regulate and come back to a safe place? So, thinking about how to start your day, even if it's just 5 minutes, it's just like a gentle launching pad, and choose one practice or place you can return to when things feel loud. And sometimes, too, as we started with hand on heart, hand on belly, that might be exactly what you need. You just come here, take a few deep breaths, and then return. And number five, let joy be small and repeatable. So, savoring simple pleasures and micro joy. So, recognizing that joy doesn't need to be earned or dramatic. Small sensory pleasures, practiced regularly, recalibrate us and make life feel more livable. So, this could be your morning cup of tea. This could be a ballet class. This could be petting your dog. This could be time with a friend, right? So, thinking about what are these small sensory pleasures that you can make sure that you're getting regularly into your life? And again, we could look at these and call these glimmers. These are the things that help calm the nervous system versus activate. So, let joy be small and repeatable. And I wanted to mention this too, because one thing about the coterie in general is sometimes, people be like, oh, I went through the program. So, I already have all the information. But the thing about the program as a whole and kind of the work that I do is I really feel like there's always new things added and enhanced. But also, tranquility isn't something we achieve once and for all. It's not like we're like, check tranquility or check dreams or check relationships or check creativity. These are things they're practices, right? So it's something we return to again and again through small intentional choices. And that, my love, is what the word or theme of the year is about to help guide our small intentional choices every day, helps with decision making. Okay, so what is on the 2026 Tranquility menu? I just want to share a few things that are coming down the pike so you're aware. And what happened to all of my images? I do not know. Okay, so Tea with Kimberly. Now, this is something that is available for you for free over on YouTube. Please join the channel. And there's 60 plus videos, including a 4-part midlife series for you. The new day book that I mentioned. So this released in November, and you can, those of you who want spiral bound, you can take this. Someone told me it was like $7, $8 at Staples to get that cut off and turned into a spiral for those of you who would like that. Seasonal soirees. So although the New Year and the mid-year are only open to the coterie, in spring and in fall, the rest of the community is welcome to join. So you'll have 2 seasonal soirees that will be offered for you if you are interested. This is one new thing that I'm really excited about. I have not led an Artist Way group since maybe 2006. So, oh my gosh, that's like 20 years. So I used to lead these a lot. This book is what I credit to me starting an entrepreneurial journey. It got me starting the yoga studio in my living room that grew into 2 locations and 50 teachers and 100 team members. And it all started with this book. And so, I just thought, I miss this. I miss teaching it and I wanted to come back to it. So just note that this will probably happen in spring or fall, and it'll be a 12-week Artist Way salon experience. Book in progress. So some of you may have read my post in November over on Substack where I talked about my writing journey and where I was. So there's this book, which was, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this title, but the idea is taking my second book, which is Tranquilista. I had the same artist who did the cover do this one and looking at it from a midlife lens. So I've been working on that, but the thing that I'm really honing in on is another project, which is a memoir that I started in 2014. So now 12 years ago. I have 65,000 words and I have a lot more I want to add. And so this is really where I need and I want to focus my energy this year. And so this is why I need to set the ballet experience aside. Don't worry, I'm still going to be doing my ballet, but I will just not be doing the competition and all of that. Also, I just like to share this that we support Pigs and Pugs Project, 1% for the planet, and Borneo orangutan survival. I'm obsessed with orangutans. I went to Borneo a couple years ago, and I just can't say enough amazing things about these creatures. All right, so that is what's coming down the pike. The images that we're missing were Substack. It's so funny because they were there, now they're gone. Anyway, with Substack, I wanted to mention Substack, and that's kimberlywilson.substack.com. And over there is like where my blog shifted to. And there's also a lot of additional bits that go out to paid members. And membership is like $9 a month. And, from a private podcast to a playlist to a guided meditation to journal prompts to my month in review. And also, it will be my year in review that will be coming out shortly. So, those were some of the bits that were not showing up. But anyway, I would love to hear any questions you may have or takeaways. So, takeaways with regard to the journaling or takeaways with regard to even these 5 tips and or any questions you may have. So, I'm just going to stop the share and head on. Oh my gosh, look at all these beautiful faces. I couldn't see you when I was showing the screen. Hello, 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 hello. I love it. Um, yeah, so I'd love to know, and let me go into the chat box because my apologies, I have not been able to look at that as I have been blabbing away. Okay, let's see. Okay, yes, I love his poetry, Caitlin. Yes, yes, yes. Sparkle, says Cindy. Love it. Um, Bonjour, everyone. Knee surgery infection. Feliz Dici. Just bought your new day book. They're redoing the coterie. What else can I do? Pondering. Thinking about spending another late summer in Paris. Oh, Caroline. I'm going back for the month of February. And I think what I'm going to do is go back for like months, like, here and there, or like, 3 weeks, like longer bits. But I did really like being there late summer. It's really lovely and it's quiet and it was really nice. August was lovely there. So we'll see. To be determined. I am still sussing out 2026, honey. Usually I'm planned. Usually my whole year is planned and not this year. And I'm kind of loving it. Chicago, desire to reconnect with my creative self. Yes. Absolutely love the little pug in the cover illustration for Advanced Tranquilisa. That is my little gizmo who had one eye. And I love that she pulled that together. Fantastic collection of beautiful prompts and inspiration. I'm curious which of these options activities have the most in-person live. I'm more of an extrovert. Yeah, so Diana, yeah, so the Coterie has 37 live events. And so live virtually. There's one in person where you come into my home in Washington, D.C., and we have a tea party, and that's May 16th. And what's kind of cool is there is The Great Gatsby is showing at the National Theater that time. So people who come into town, you could also hit that. But yes, it's really an immersive experience. Now, some people don't join the live events. They're more about they want to watch the replays or they're more about just doing all the online material. But those of you who want a little more interaction and connection, it's really a nice way to befriend like-hearted ladies and to really get to know each other. A lot of friendships have been born and developed from this, and I love that so much. It means a lot to me. We're doing the 12-week Artist Way Salon. Cindy, yes, stay tuned. I think that's going to be really magical. And again, I'm looking at spring, but we'll see. We'll see. It may be more of a fall thing. Kathleen, thank you so much. Any questions, coterie questions, questions about any of the 5 tips, or even the journal prompts. And I'd love to hear too if there's any takeaways, anything you're taking away from tonight's experience, because you gave me an hour of your time, which I really appreciate, that will help you as you move into this brand new year and this brand new week. And again, the piece that I want to mention that I emphasized a little bit at the end, but was tranquility as a practice. So it's not like, oh, tranquil, check, done. It really is what are those things every single day that you can do that will help bring you closer to that version of yourself that feels a bit more ease, um, feels a bit more comfortable in her body, is more in alignment with how she wants to show up in the world. So there's just little things to keep in mind as you navigate this brand new year ahead. All right. Any other questions or comments before we close? We share more about how you weave nervous system awareness into your day to day. Beth, that is a great question. Yes, I will. And even in the Coterie workbook this year, I have a whole page on that because it is a really, really important piece. Um, I love you guys. Okay. So, um, the bit about the nervous system is to really be able to check in with your body, kind of like how I walked you through at the very beginning and noticing how do things feel. So it can even be like you're sitting down for a meeting. What do you notice in your body? You get a phone call. What do you notice in your body? So it's becoming just a little bit more attuned to what's happening in the body. A few really kind of simple things to do to help calm the nervous system is hand over heart. So, and nobody knows what you're doing. You're just like, oh, yeah, of course. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just having a conversation. And then also kind of shaking out the limbs can get the energy out. And then there's like butterfly hug, doing things like this. And there's also, hold hands around a warm beverage. This is always so soothing for me. Things like weighted blankets. So there's a lot of wonderful practices out there. Um, and Jennifer, yes, it was such a treat to have you on the Coterie in 2024 and 2025. And Lexi, thanks for a great start. Thank you. I'm so happy you're here. My desire for in person. Yes, we will have an in person tea party. And then I'm not sure to what other degree of in person I'll be offering, but stay tuned. And then remind me we can always do over since I lost the entire year. Yes, to a medical challenge. Uh-huh. I know, right? Any tips for unplugging on a weekly basis? Oh my, that's a good one. So yes, I encourage it. Recently I took my screen time down. I cut it in half. I was a little horrified by what I was seeing with my screen time. And so, and some people have asked, well, how'd you do it? How'd you do it? What did you do? And I just stopped reaching for it regularly. Or if a text message came in, I would just leave it on do not disturb. And there's something about like, what are we reaching for really? And so being more aware of that. There's also a book I have right here called How to Break Up with Your Phone. That's a really good book. But just recognizing like what are we reaching for? And whenever we say we don't have time for our creative projects, what are we doing instead? So look at your screen time. Those of you who have the iPhone, I'm sure it's probably on an Android also, and just notice, is this how I want to be spending my time? And it's really eye-opening and a little horrifying. um, Coterie is my big glimmer. I love it, Amber. We love having you. Humming, yes, humming. Heather, thank you for mentioning that. Humming, yes, very soothing. Who knew? But yes. And also people who, like with yoga, if you do chanting, things like that, absolutely. Cindy, I'm so glad you're here. Looking for glimmers right now. I love tea parties in DC. Lenore comes in from the Chicago area. We love having her here. We have people come in from all over. Hour well spent. I love that. Hi, Shizuka. Shizuka from Japan. I love journaling with you in the new year. So good to see you, Miss Crystal. Thanks for sharing the prompts and tips. I chuckled when you said you haven't planned out the whole year yet. What a shift. I know, Crystal. Like, what is happening? I'm like, who am I? Emily, I just started switching my phone to grayscale, and it really helped me stop mindlessly looking at it. It's so funny. I think, Emily, somebody mentioned that in the Coterie this year. I haven't figured out how to do that. I know I can just Google it, but that's good to know. And I have heard that that's quite helpful for people. Sending a big thank you and hugs out. And thank you for your thoughts. Beautiful. Merci beaucoup. A biento. And I'm glad I joined the Coterie again. Such a nice way to take care of myself. And Carol, it's such a treat to have you with us, as always. So, anyone who is interested in being part of the community, again, it's a very special container. Just check out kimberlywilson.com/coterie for all the details and all the programming, which includes, again, 37 plus live events, one in-person event, a 250-page workbook PDF, four digital courses, plus the Coterie digital course. So, really, oh, and then 18 bonuses. So basically, I like to say I just throw everything in the kitchen sink at you. So all of my work, really, over the past 20 years, PDFs of all my books that I have access to. I don't have PDFs of Tranquilista or Hip Tranquil Chick because they're with my publisher. But so all the other books. So, I really hope to make this as rich of an experience as possible for you. And also that, it's a buffet. So you can pick and choose what it is that works best for you. Oh, Kathleen, I'm joining the Coterie again this year after a 3-year break. I'm ready again. Well, Kathleen, we are ready for you, and you better come for the tea party again like you did last year or last time. So that would be amazing. Would love to have you. Michelle, Coterie was and we're looking forward to you. And Michelle, I'm very sad to say, I got your note card back that I had sent to you a few weeks ago. So I am going to have to resend it. So my apologies that you didn't get the little note card from Oklahoma that I sent 3 weeks ago. All right, loves. I hope you have a beautiful launch into this brand new year. And thank you so much for being here. Check out the Coterie. It's an amazing experience. And there is a 6-month payment plan for anyone who's interested in that also. And yeah, I wish you the very, very best. And thank you for being part of my life and my journey. Absolutely means the world. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Bonne journée, bonne soirée, all the good things.